I completely love Africa. I tell people all the time that I don't think I can live anywhere else. We have a lot of intelligent people in this continent, and we're doing amazing things. So I think that the earlier we look within, look at our own potentials and see what we can do to change the world, we will get there faster. Because we have everything within us, everything.
Welcome to another episode of It Is Time for Africa, and today we're at Mrs. Brenda's house. Mrs. Brenda is a female certified architect with 16 years of practice experience. So we are going in now to see the lovely building she has here, which happens to be one of her designs, and also to have a little chit chat with her. So let's go. Thank you for having us, Ma. And I'll say I was really excited when I went through your profile. I mean, a woman doing so much in this part of the world did something with all the women should just be meant for the kitchen and the other. And we have women who are actually killing it. I was really excited and I was like, okay, yes. I'm meeting someone who I aspire to be like one day, though not as an architect.
You'd have to go to architecture school for that.
Yeah. Alright, so we just want to know a little bit about you, your name, where you're from, and what you do.
Okay. So my name is Brenda Unu. I'm originally from Edo State, but I'm married to a Delta man. I'm an architect by profession. I'm also a writer. I do write. In fact, I love to write. And I'm married. I'm a mother of 4 children.
Wow.
And in fact, I have many interests and many passions, but for me, the most driving of everything that I do is a passion to see women be the best that they can be. To see women just take up their lives and have a dream and follow it and pursue it to a logical conclusion. Because I find that most women are satisfied with being a wife and mother and nothing else. However, God has created us all to be much more, because even as He put the dreams in the heart of men, He's put the dreams in the heart of women. And so I'm very passionate about helping women see that, you can be a fabulous wife and a fabulous mother, and then still much more. So that's like my most driving passion. And so that's why most of everything that I do is about encouraging young girls, encouraging women, and generally making us realize that we're a useful part of the society that cannot be overlooked.
From that, will you say when you were much younger, you had the opportunity to actually get something like this?
I would say that my mother is a superwoman. I come from a long line of strong women. My grandmother was, we met her growing up, and we had already heard of the things that she had done ahead of. She got widowed at a very young age, and so single-handedly raised 6 children, putting them all through school, while being their provider and being the mother and being a disciplinarian at that. So, of course, my mother is the first daughter, and she took it up from there and raised all 5 of us, 4 girls and a boy, without us knowing who was girl and who was boy. We had to each do the same tasks and, each learn the same things. So today my brother can cook, I can change a tire, and that's how we were raised. So we were raised not knowing that you're female or male, just knowing that you're a human being, and so you have to be useful to the society. So that is what I think has contributed largely to me having this can-do attitude and not seeing any limitations to my femaleness.
So will you say your passion for architecture and writing actually stemmed from when you were much younger?
Oh, absolutely it did. Absolutely it did. I was, in fact, maybe 6 or 7 when I started writing. And I tell the story a lot because it's like from when we were kids. Those days TV was from 4 to maybe, I don't know what time, because we used to go to bed by 8:30. And the most interesting soap operas were between 8 and 9. And they would send us to bed at 8:30. So it was so painful. I mean, why don't you send us to bed at 8? So that we know that, okay, we're not watching the program. But imagine you're watching halfway and they say, okay, bedtime and you have to leave. So from there, we'll go to bed and imagine what was going to happen in the program after that. So I was very imaginative as a kid, and I used to tell the stories to my siblings, and they would laugh, and like, okay, so where did you stop yesterday? They would tell me when it's bedtime the next day. They'll tell me where I stopped, and I'll continue the story again. So I was telling stories from as young as maybe 6 or 7. And as soon as I learned to be able to write, I started writing those stories. My father, I have recollection of my father's filing my stories and thinking I was going to become a lawyer. However, still in that youthful stage, I used to draw. I used to draw, and I used to make cardboard boxes. You know what we call cartons now.
Yeah.
Used cartons. I used them to make a house. I would put demarcations. This is the bedroom. This is the room. I was doing all of that even as a kid. And I remember very clearly when that started. My father had brought his plans, his floor plans for the house he was building, and I was very intrigued. I was like, "What is this? Who does this?" He said, "Architects." And then I said, "I want to be an architect." I didn't even know what I needed to do to become an architect. I just knew that I loved what I saw and I wanted to do it. So even though I was writing and had the flair, I just felt the pull to architecture much more. And so that's what I studied.
So your dad was an architect?
No, he wasn't. He was actually employing the services of an architect. So he brought his plans home. Okay. And he was like, "Oh, this is the house I'm building." And I was so intrigued. So he was also interested in the fact that I was intrigued, and I was like, "Okay, so maybe I will get an architect one day." So he guided me along the lines. My dad was really significant to me loving to read and write, because he was always buying us books. Like, we had like the most stocked library in the house. He also had some personal library, and he was buying us children's books as well. So when I finished reading children's book, I would go and read his own books, and when I'm done with that, I would start writing my own books. And that was how I actually loved to read and write.
Well, how would you compare architecture then and now?
When I was studying in school, we were drawing with our hands. Like, we were drawing with pencils and pens. We did all our drawing manually. But it changed very quickly, because even at the time I was serving in my NYC, there was already, AutoCAD was already becoming a thing. We already knew that we could not get a job without learning computer-aided design. So I spent my NYC money, I gathered my NYC money to buy my first computer, and also to take the training for AutoCAD. So I was ready and equipped to start work as an architect in the modern world. Now, these days, even the training of architecture, they actually, train in CAD. They're training with the computers right from time. So, and the advent of the internet and, literally collapsing the borders of the world, we find that there's so much has happened, and, even our clients here are thirsting for so much more. They're not satisfied with what you just give them. They're like, "No, I saw something when I went to Geneva. I saw something when I went to Paris." And so you are literally competing with architects all over the world. So we have to step up very quickly and train ourselves, and just so that otherwise you will just be here in Nigeria, and the clients that we have will be paying for services from architects that are outside the country. Yeah. So because of this whole internet exposure and everything, everybody has to get on board very quickly and get skilled up very quickly. So I would say that architecture has changed in that we now have more sophisticated clients, and then even the technology has brought a lot of extra things, like now people are looking for smart homes, people are looking for, something extra. There's always, everybody just wants something else. Instead of just your normal brick and mortar, you just build a house and say, "This is your house now." Okay, they're no more okay with that. We now have more sophisticated clients, and so we have to think outside the box and bring new creative solutions to them. So that's it. For architect, it is critical to retain your clients as your friends. It's not like some kind of work that you say, "Oh, you get repeat work from." Not many people build several houses throughout their lifetime. Some people just build one and that's it. Some people build more, but they're even so far apart. Like, a client reached out to me the other day, and he said I had done a design for him 10 years ago. Like, I couldn't remember the guy, but I had his number on my phone, so I knew that he was right. So I had to go and check my email and everything, and I found it. So imagine it took him 10 years to need my services again. So that's just to let you know that we don't really have repeat clients like that, except if it's a corporate client. Maybe they're doing, different branches, things like that. So what you need to do, even though you will not get the client, someone that you built a house for, to call you again until 10 years, you must get the person's goodwill because of referrals. Because if you wanted to build a house today, what would you do? You'd ask your friend who has built their house, right? You'd be like, "Oh, I like your house, it's really pretty. Who did your design for you?" And I don't mind them very useless architect. I'm not even talking to her anymore, please, because I can't even recommend her. Now, have I not lost a potential client? So it's really important to deliver your job well and keep your clients on your side. It's really critical.
Okay, so in this world, I'm sure you have people you actually look up to. So in Nigeria and in diaspora, who are the people you actually look up to?
Like my biggest fan, my biggest role model ever was Zaha Hadid. Zaha Hadid is a female architect. She's late now, but her works still adorn the whole of the world. Very, very good at what she does. Zaha Hadid is like top-notch female architect. In fact, top-notch architect. Even if you don't put female, top-notch architect, really, really brilliant woman, and her designs were out of this world, way, way, way ahead of her time. So she's late now. But apart from Zaha Hadid, if I come closer home, there are architects that I really admire. There's this lady at Jumoke Adenowo. She's an AD consultant. I really admire what she does, and why I like her is not only is she good at architecture, she's also doing a lot of other things for women, which is literally what I want, what I want to do. So in my head, she's my role model. So that's one. And then there's this guy Kunle Adeyemi. He's also a fantastic architect. He doesn't work in Nigeria, but he's famous for the Makoko floating school. I think you must have heard of it, So, I like people that do things that are just out of the box like that, extraordinary. Then among my peers, there are people that I really admire, and there are people like Tosin Oshinowo and James George. They're doing fantastic work in the architecture space, and I really, really admire what they do. So yeah, I have people that I admire on the top end, and my peers and all that. So yeah, because architecture is subjective, It's like fashion design. What you design is different from what I am, what I design, but it doesn't say that yours is better than mine. So much you can do with architecture. It has the training of architecture allows you to express yourself in different ways. You can do interior design, you can do furniture design, you can do landscape design, you can do building of houses, you can do design of houses, there's just no end to the kind of things you can do with an architecture degree.
Architecture is that broad.
Oh my goodness. It's like, when they used to tell us in school, we thought it was a joke. But literally, as I came out of school and I saw the different opportunities and I saw what architects are doing, I realized that, architects, there are architects that make cake, and then their cakes are like different. You would know. Because all those small intricacies, the carving, the writing, you would know the difference when you see an architect's own. So, everything an architect goes into, even if it is making of clothes, you will see the difference because of the training that we've gotten. It's a specialized training that allows you to pay attention to details, that teaches you design, an eye for beauty, an eye for design, an eye for workability of things. So by the time you bring this into any sphere, you literally have to excel.
I give the last question on architecture because it looks like we talk about it all day. So what would you say or give as an advice to people who actually want to come into it? Ladies, young guys, young girls. Would you say, like you said, you had interest in drawing? Is that a prerequisite? Like, it's very necessary, I know.
I'll say, I've been counseling some young girls. Parents bring girls to me. Nobody's ever brought their son, so I don't know. Parents bring their girls to me and say they're in secondary school, they want to do architecture. How do I speak to them? What should I tell them? So I've had this conversation many times with young girls. What I always say to people is that architecture is a jealous husband. In the university, it's a jealous husband. You can't part and study architecture. It's not going to happen, right? So you need to just know as you're getting in that this is a busy course. It's like the way you know when you get into medicine that this is if I don't face it, I will fail. So just know as you're getting in that this is going to be a busy ride. So I'm going to be committed to this, and I'm going to do my best. Now, secondly, you have to have a flair for creativity. If you don't know how to draw, they will teach you how to draw. My first year, they taught us how to draw. You don't know how to, they will teach you. It's part of the curriculum. But you need to have a flair for creativity. You have to have a good imagination. You have to have an interest. Because imagine if you were a calculation person and you just find yourself in architecture. There's just very little calculation in architecture. So you'll be frustrated with all the drawing courses and all the other courses that you need to be like, can I not just go and do engineering? So you have to have, so you need to work with the guidance counselor while you're in school to know, these are the things that I like. And so that architecture is good for you. You have to be able to have a sense of creativity. You have to learn to draw. If you don't know how to draw, go and open YouTube and learn. My daughter is 10. She's learning to draw from YouTube now. There are many, many resources that help you open your mind, be interested in buildings. Enter a building and ask the right questions. Then you know that you're really, you're ready for architecture. Interested in what makes things work. Be curious, and have an eye for detail. I have some youngsters that came to do internship with me, and I sent them to the site, and I said to them, give me reports daily. Now, the kind of reports that they brought, I had 2 of them, made me know which of the 2 will be a better architect. Because what are you saying? What are you paying attention to? What are you learning? It's a whole there's a whole lot. But anybody that wants to study architecture, it's doable. I mean, even if you don't know how to draw, you can learn, but you have to be ready to like it, because if you don't like it, it's going to be a real chore, and anything you don't have a passion for is going to be really difficult for you. It's a difficult course to study. I mean, it may be easier now these days that they have computers, I don't know, but it was difficult. We used to sleep.
Let's not talk about architecture throughout today. So now let's move to writing.
Writing, oh my god.
You really love that aspect. I was waiting for that. So aside when you started telling stories and writing little stories when you were younger, when was the big break into the writing world?
Okay, so when I was writing as a child, when I got to secondary school, I told you I went to Queen's College. That school is tough. It's so academically competitive that I did not write again. I threw my writing away, like literally. I had to face my exams because my mother would have just killed me bringing those kind of results home. So I stopped writing. Of course, by the time I got to university, it was even worse. I told you architecture is a jealous husband, so I didn't even remember that I knew how to write. So literally, I wasn't writing anymore. I found myself in a writing group. Very strange occurrence. I wrote something on Facebook one day, and somebody reached out to me to come and join the writing group. So that's how I joined. And then we talked, and they taught me a lot of things, and then they told me to start posting on Facebook. Now, I'm an architect, right? You know that. And that's the only side that everybody knows. So here I was told to come and post fiction on Facebook. I was like, no, I'm not going to post fiction. I'm posting fiction. That was not for serious people. serious person. So they said to me that it was a condition that I had to do it. And I was like, okay. It's okay, post the first one and see the reaction. So I posted the first story. The story was very funny. It was actually a story of my life. But I twisted it a lot, changed a lot of things, changed the names, changed some of the circumstances, and I posted it. And people were liking, commenting, oh my god, this is beautiful. When is the next push? I'm like, oops, who? Like, so the reaction was really warm, and I felt more encouraged. So this writing group gave us a writing challenge that we're supposed to write every day for 1 month. Like, every day. Hey, this book came me. I have 4 children for God's sake. I had a day, and I had things to do. I was like, okay, let's do it. What would it take? So they had different topics that we were supposed to write about, and they didn't tell us how to write it. So what I did was, some of the topics were very personal. Like, they asked us to write about my body, what I hate about my body. I'm like, hey, Facebook, that my husband and my friends, I can't do that. So that made me write. I responded to all of those topics with fiction. So I formed a fictional character, and I responded to all of those topics. So I now had, at the end of the month, 31 stories. 31 short stories that people have been following every day, commenting on, liking, and like, oh my god. By this time they're like, can we have your book? When can we have your book? I'm like, I'm not writing a book. It was like, they're just short stories, random stories that are not even connected. And like, which book? I don't have a book, you guys, please leave me alone. But at the end of the 30 days, I realized that it was November 2018, I can never forget. I realized that I had developed a style. Right? I developed a style, people liked what I did, and they were now asking for my work. So in that time, I had written 3 main characters. I'd written the story around 3 main characters. So I now asked them to vote which of the characters I should continue with into December. And they were like, oh, this one, oh, that one, this one. So eventually they chose. So I now continue the story, another story series into December. So by January, I now decided that I was going to publish the story. I mean, I had plenty stories now. So I now picked the characters and said to gather all the stories I'd written and now fill in the gaps to make it a novel. So now I have a book for preteens because I focused it. I was thinking of my children when I was writing the story. I have 2 girls that are 10 and 12. So I had them in my head as what do I want to teach them in telling those stories. So I have that book for preteen females. Then one day I was writing something on Facebook because I have this column that I write on Facebook. It's called Ask the Architect, and the second one is Waiting Architects They Do Serve. I keep on saying that we have to enlighten people about what architecture is about and why they need architects. So that's what I do on those series. So one of those is I was talking about stories. Like a building has several stories, and people did not understand. I was explaining and did not understand, and I said, okay, I need to explain this thing as if I was explaining to a 5-year-old. So I sat down and I got some, pictures, some cartoons, and I told this thing, and everyone said, "Oh, I finally got it." And I was like, okay. So while I was talking, one lady said, my children's teacher saw it and said, "Oh, I put on my status. I said, oh, I love this. Can I use it to teach my children? My son is 7. He was 6 at the time. Can I teach my children on creative writing?" I was like, okay, you can. And I just wrote this story. I don't know the story with a 5-year-old in mind, and really breaking down those concepts of what a house is like, what are the different types of houses. And that's how I wrote the first children's book. My son was super excited and said, "Mom, can you write another one?" So I wrote the second one. And now he's asking for a third one. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not a children's writer. I don't know how to sell the children's books. So mostly I've been dashing them out. Like literally, I haven't, but I think I will put it on Amazon soon so that other people can have a chance to buy it. Because I don't really know how to sell the children's books. I actually don't feel like I should collect money for them. Because it came so easily to me. Although that's bad. It's bad for business. So I'll put it on Amazon and see how it does there. So that's how I forayed into those children's books. But I'm not a children's book author. I am an adult writer.
The two things you do actually relate, because architecture helps you with illustrating what you write, and then writing helps you explain architecture more.
Absolutely. That was how, that now leads me to my newest project. I'm presently writing a book. It's presently in production. It's called Brick by Brick, a couple's journey to building their first home. Now, I love writing fiction. However, I met this coach that said, "You're teaching so much on architecture. Why don't you write a book on architecture?" I was like, am I a lecturer? How would I write a book? I can't. He said, "You're thinking about it as a textbook. No, think about it as a book that will help people." And I said, "But architecture is such an abstract concept. How am I going to teach people that's going to..." And I realized that, okay, even in my posts on Facebook, I relate the abstract concepts to simpler issues. Like the day I was telling a story about foundation, I started the story from how a friend and I went to this salon to do our hair. We were doing the exact same hairstyle, but I needed to retouch my hair first, to relax my hair first, and she didn't need to. And by the end of the day, both of us had different costs for our hairdo, even if it was the same style. I said, in the same way, you and your friend may want to build a house, the same exact house, but the foundation in the person's house is different from your own because of the type of soil. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, nobody has explained it to us like this before." Do you understand? So that is how my posts are on Facebook, how I break it down to things that you can understand. So my coach said I should go and write a book. So here I am. I've written the book. I'm super excited. So I wrote the story of this couple and their journey to building their house. So it's a nice love story, interspiced with all the things that they learned. So breaking it down for you to understand it, because you are seeing yourself through the eyes of this couple, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know that." In fact, the people I've given to read, my friends have given to read, and even the editor were like, "Oh my God, I learned so many things," So, and I'm super excited to hear that, and I believe that it's going to help so many people, break down the thoughts of, a house. Everybody should own a house. It's one of the sustainable development goals that everybody should own a house. In fact, we just came off the back of World Architecture Day. It was on Monday, October 5th. And the theme is, Habitat for All. So everybody should own a house. And why do you think it's out of your reach? There are different things you can do to make your house within your own budget. So if you don't need to build a massive, super massive house that has many rooms. I mean, this is not our first house. Our first house was much smaller than this. So, but you need to have a house, So you need to work towards, and this book tells you the practical steps of how to work towards it and build your house. So yes, I'm super excited about the book, and it's going to come out in November. So I'll be opening pre-orders soon, and I will let you know.
Okay.
Just follow me on my social media. You will find all the gist there.
So you will not tell us your Instagram.
My Instagram handle is at Brenda Unu. Unu is UNU. The same Unu that's on all my books. So it's at Brenda.Unu on Instagram, and on Facebook is Brenda Unu. Yeah, on Twitter is Brenda Unu07. I hardly go there. Forgive me. But my LinkedIn is Brenda Unu. I use my full name in LinkedIn because I'm a full professional there. This Unu is also for writing and things, but my full name is on LinkedIn. But you just type Brenda Unu and it will come up anyway. So
we'll drop that in the description box.
Yeah.
So anything for our viewers when it comes to your books?
Yes, I have several free books. Several, in fact, that I give people. So the thing I think that the viewers would like, I have the free book on goal setting. You know, we're going into a new year soon. In fact, we're in the last quarter of this year. We're in the last quarter of this year, and you can still make things happen. Absolutely, this is just the beginning of the last quarter. You can still make things happen because 2020 has been a year that most people want to just cancel from their dictionary and say, you know what, we didn't get anything done this year. But I think that in this one quarter left, you know, we serve the God of the 11th hour. There's nothing that's impossible. So if you sit down and plan, you can still get something done this year. So my goal setting book is super simple, super explanatory, and I give them for free. I'll simply share the link with you. I'll drop the link with you. It will be in the description, and you can just grab a copy. Free ebook. And well, if you like any of my books, you go to Amazon and buy them.
Yeah, I was going to ask
yeah, the novels are on Amazon. These children's books, I've told you, they're not yet there. But I still do have links where I sell them. So if you reach out to me on my DM in any of my social media handles, I will let you know how to get them. They're very cheap and very affordable. But this particular one, I have the hard copies. I'm selling by myself in my own house. You can get your print. You can get the print version from Amazon or the e-version. All of them have the print or e-version on Amazon. But I have only the printed copies of this book here in Nigeria. So if you're in Lagos or anywhere in Nigeria, you can get an autographed copy from me.
Okay. We sure like that. Alright, so I think we've gotten to the end, and so we'd like to know what final words you have for all of us, especially your deep passion for Nigerian women and Nigerian women, of which I was going to ask what something I really love asking since we are about Africa. So what would you say is your favorite thing about Africa? Tell me it's our food.
Oh, our food is fantastic.
Thank you.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, my husband only eats native food. It's unbelievable. Anything I find off YouTube and I want to experiment is for me and my children. It's not interesting. So our food is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I also love our culture, the vibrancy of our colors, you know, our dressing. You know, I love Ankara. I wish I could wear it to work, but I don't work for myself, so I can't. I love our clothing. I love our culture. I love the fact that we respect our elders and we look out for each other. I completely love Africa. I tell people all the time that I don't think I can live anywhere else. And apart from that, I don't like cold, but so I love our weather. But no place like home. The fact that family is a phone call away, and you can always find somebody to help you, because we're warm, vibrant people. And I believe that we're also people that we are very intelligent people. We have a lot of intelligent people in this continent, and we're doing amazing things. So I think that the earlier we look within, look at our own potentials and see what we can do to change the world, we will get there faster, because we have everything within us, everything.
Thank you very much for having us. We really had a fun time with you.
I had a fun time, so thank you.